Number 1. The unseen, unplugged modernity. We land in Tehran, right? And immediately, your carefully curated travel apps start throwing a tantrum. Google Maps? Maybe. Instagram? Nope. Your favorite streaming service? Forget about it. This is the first punch, a digital gut check that tells you loud and clear, you're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. The instinct is to panic, right? How can a country function, let alone thrive, when its digital veins seem partially severed from the global internet? I once met a traveler, eyes wide with digital despair, wrestling with a VPN that refused to connect. They were convinced Iran was a technological desert, a black hole of connectivity. But then, just across the street, I watched a group of university students, chatting animatedly, not glued to their screens, but engaging. One pulled out a local ride-hailing app, think Iranian Uber, navigating Tehran's notorious traffic with casual ease. Another was showing off photos on a messaging app I'd never heard of. It clicked. This wasn't a lack of modernity, it was a different kind of modernity, one that often exists beneath the surface, built by necessity, and often, surprisingly vibrant. Iran isn't just stuck in the past, it's practically speed dating the future, on its own terms. Forget the dusty black and white images in your head. Tehran, Isfahan, Shiraz. These aren't just cities, they're buzzing hubs of innovation, tech startups, and a youth culture that's more connected than your average influencer. But here's the twist, a significant chunk of that connection happens on homegrown platforms, through ingenious workarounds, and crucially, through the vibrant, irreplaceable medium of face-to-face human interaction. You'll find gourmet coffee shops rivaling anything in Brooklyn, art galleries pushing boundaries, and fashion that, while modest, is undeniably chic. It's like finding a supercar parked outside a centuries-old caravanserai. The contrast? Chef's kiss. But this isn't just aesthetic. This is a testament to the Iranian people's incredible adaptability. When global tech giants are restricted, they don't just give up. They build their own. They create their own apps for messaging, for shopping, for entertainment. It's a parallel digital universe, functioning with remarkable efficiency for those on the inside. Think about it, a country that's been living under the shadow of international sanctions for decades doesn't just fold. It innovates. It creates solutions out of necessity. This means a generation of coders, engineers, and entrepreneurs who are building localized platforms for everything from ride-sharing to food delivery. You might not see them on the global app store, but they're thriving within Iran's borders. It's a digital ecosystem forged in resilience, often more efficient for the local population than a global one could ever be, simply because it's tailored to their unique circumstances. The unplugged nature for foreign visitors often hides this deeply plugged-in reality for locals. And this realization sparks a critical question. In our hyper-connected world, have we, the connected, perhaps lost something? The constant digital hum, the endless scrolling. Does it steal away the very human interactions that Iran, by necessity, has managed to preserve and even champion? Because while you might struggle to post that perfect selfie, you'll find people engaging in deeper, richer conversations in person. You'll see bustling markets where transactions are personal, not just clicks. And that, my friends, is a kind of modernity we might actually be missing. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If suddenly your favorite apps disappeared, how quickly would you adapt? What new, homegrown innovations would emerge? What would you gain when the digital noise finally quieted down? The answers, perhaps, are already being lived out daily in the unexpected streets of Tehran. And speaking of unexpected, prepare yourself for a polite ambush. Because the next hard truth isn't just a cultural custom, it's a daily psychological battleground of extreme politeness that will leave you both charmed and utterly bewildered. Ever tried to refuse something so many times it felt like a dance-off? You're about to meet its master. Number 2, tear-off, the politeness paradox. You're in a bazaar. The shopkeeper offers you tea. Sweet, fragrant tea. You smile, no thank you, it's too much trouble. He insists. Oh no, please, it's no trouble at all, a pleasure. You insist back, no truly, you are too kind. He pushes it closer. But please, it is my honor. And suddenly, you're locked in a polite, yet surprisingly intense, verbal joust. You just wanted a cup of tea, and now you're in the politeness equivalent of a staring contest. What is happening? My first encounter with tear-off left me utterly bewildered. I was offered a pastry, a delicious-looking gazette. I politely refused, as one does. The kind woman insisted. I refused again, more firmly. She insisted harder, with a twinkle in her eye. I thought, okay, this is getting awkward. After my third refusal, she finally put it away. Later, my local guide gently explained, I had just committed a major social faux pas. She really wanted me to have that gas, but I didn't engage in the tear-off dance long enough. I literally starved myself out of a pastry because I didn't understand the rules of engagement. The pain was real, my friends, the pastry-less pain. Hard truth number 2, they invented politeness, then made it an Olympic sport called tear-off. This isn't just good manners, it's an intricate, deeply ingrained social ritual where people offer things they don't necessarily expect you to accept immediately, and you're expected to politely refuse a few times before actually accepting, or not. It's a linguistic and cultural ballet, designed to show respect, humility, and generosity, even when it leads to a mild case of cognitive dissonance for the uninitiated. Imagine this: you hop in a taxi, arrive at your destination, and ask the driver the fare. He might wave his hand dismissively and say, "It was my pleasure, no charge." Now your immediate thought is, "Wow, free ride." But hold on. That's tear-off. You are absolutely expected to insist on paying, probably 2 or 3 times, before he finally, graciously accepts. If you just hopped out, he'd be politely miffed. It's like a verbal tennis match where winning means politely losing, and losing means being rude. It's exhausting, it's charming, and it's uniquely Iranian. The beauty, and sometimes the absolute torture, of tear-off lies in its layers. It's about preserving dignity, showing deference, and avoiding even the appearance of greed or imposition. It's why a shopkeeper might say it's not worth anything when you ask for the price, expecting you to ask again, perhaps even slightly higher. It's why hosts will pile your plate sky high, insisting you eat more, even when you're bursting. To not insist is to imply you don't value the guest enough to try harder. It's a never-ending loop of polite generosity and equally polite refusal. For foreigners, mastering tear-off is less about perfection and more about participation. Locals understand your learning, and often find your struggles endearing. But embracing the dance, even clumsily, shows respect. It's a profound insight into a culture that prioritizes humility and the intricate dance of social grace above almost all else. It's confusing, yes, but it's also incredibly beautiful once you start to grasp its underlying intent. It turns simple transactions into nuanced human connections. So the next time someone insists you take something, or refuses your payment, don't just say thank you and run. Lean into the tear-off. Engage in the polite back and forth. You might just unlock a deeper connection, and maybe, just maybe, that free cup of tea will actually become yours after the third insistence. Have you ever experienced a cultural custom that completely baffled you? Tell me your most awkward lost in translation moment in the comments below. And don't go anywhere, because coming up next, we're peeling back the curtain on how a nation, under immense pressure, manages to innovate and thrive in ways that will completely blow your mind. It's a story of pure, unadulterated resilience. Number 3. The unseen entrepreneurship and resilience. Imagine running a business, trying to innovate, trying to simply exist in a world where half the digital tools you rely on are blocked, where international banking is a minefield, and where your entire economy is under constant crushing pressure. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Most of us would throw in the towel, grab a blanket, and wallow in self-pity. But in Iran, they simply adapt. They build. They invent. And they do it with a smile, a twinkle in their eye, and often, a surprising amount of flair. I once met a young Iranian artist, incredibly talented, trying to sell his intricate miniature paintings online. In any other country, he'd be crushing it on Etsy or Instagram. But here, every international payment gateway was a brick wall. Every shipping company a headache. His pain was palpable, but his determination? Unbreakable. He hadn't given up, he'd simply shifted tactics, found local solutions, built a network of friends and family abroad, and created a thriving business model that completely circumvented the global system. It wasn't easy, but it was working. This wasn't just resilience, it was pure, unadulterated genius born from necessity. Sanctions or not, Iranians are the ultimate economic ninjas, masters of the workaround, and champions of self-reliance. While the news might paint a picture of hardship and struggle, the reality on the ground is a vibrant testament to incredible ingenuity and an entrepreneurial spirit that would make Silicon Valley blush. From ingenious workarounds to thriving local industries, Iranians find a way. They've mastered the art of making do, and then some, often with a cheeky smile and an even cheekier side hustle. Take the tech scene. When global social media platforms are restricted, locals build their own. When international payment systems are a no-go, they develop robust internal ones. You'll see young developers creating impressive apps for everything from ride-hailing, like Snap and Tapsi, which dominate the market, to online shopping, all built from the ground up within Iran. These aren't just copies. They're often highly localized, efficient, and tailored to the unique needs and infrastructure of the country. This isn't just about survival, it's about building a robust, self-sufficient ecosystem. This spirit isn't limited to tech. Walk through any bazaar, and you'll witness centuries of mercantile savvy. Artisans are not just preserving ancient crafts, they're adapting them, finding new markets, new designs, new ways to sustain their livelihoods against all odds. Small business owners are masters of resourcefulness, navigating supply chain challenges with a finesse that would make an international logistics expert weep with admiration. They pivot, they innovate, they rely on strong community networks, and they never ever stop trying. It's like watching a master chef with half the ingredients missing. Most of us would order takeout. An Iranian chef? They'd create a 5-star meal from scratch, using unconventional substitutions, surprising combinations, and a dash of pure grit. This is not just about making lemonade from lemons, it's about building an entire citrus grove in a desert. This economic dynamism is often invisible to the outside world, buried beneath the surface of political headlines. But it's there, pulsating with energy, driven by a population that refuses to be limited by external pressures. It reveals a profound truth: human spirit, when tested, can produce extraordinary levels of creativity and resilience. It challenges the very notion of what it means to succeed when the odds are stacked against you. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If we, in our comfortable connected bubbles, faced even a fraction of these challenges, would we rise to the occasion with such determination? What hidden entrepreneurial spirit lies dormant within us, waiting for the ultimate test? And speaking of things that have stood the test of time, prepare for a history lesson that will make your jaw hit the floor. Because the next hard truth isn't just old, it's so ancient, it probably invented the concept of ancient. Get ready for a civilization that still flexes its muscles from millennia ago. Number 4, a history that puts yours to shame. Seriously. You think you know history? You think your country's got a few hundred, maybe 1,000 years of interesting bits? Bless your heart. Now imagine stepping onto ground that has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of philosophies, and the architectural wonders of a civilization that predates your great-great-great-great-grandparents' great-great-great-grandparents. This isn't just history, it's the very bedrock of civilization, still standing, still breathing, still whispering tales of kings and conquests. I'll never forget my first visit to Persepolis. I'd seen pictures, read the books. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares you for standing amidst those colossal columns, looking up at the reliefs carved by hands thousands of years ago. I saw a group of Iranian teenagers there, just like any other group, laughing, taking selfies. But then one of them, a young girl, traced a finger over an ancient carving, and for a moment, her eyes held a profound depth, a connection to a legacy so vast it literally gave me chills. It wasn't just a ruin to her, it was a living memory, a part of her very identity. That's when it hit me, this isn't just their history, it's a piece of our shared human story, preserved in a way few other places on Earth can claim. Their history isn't just old, it's practically the grandpa of all histories, and it's still flexing. We're talking empires that predate your grandma's grandma's grandma. The Achaemenid Empire, the Sasanian Empire, these weren't just kingdoms, they were vast, sophisticated superpowers that shaped the ancient world, influencing everything from governance to art to engineering. Persepolis, Pasargadae, Nakshi Rustam. The sheer scale and ancient grandeur of these sites will make you feel like a speck of dust in the grand tapestry of time. Think about Cyrus the Great, who founded the Achaemenid Empire, often hailed as the first ruler to champion human rights. His cylinder, an ancient clay artifact, is considered by some to be the first charter of human rights. Or the engineering marvels that allowed cities to flourish in arid lands, like the Khanats, ancient underground aqueducts that still supply water today. This isn't just about dusty ruins, it's about the origins of concepts we still grapple with today, from administrative structures to early forms of multiculturalism. Iran literally wrote chapters of human progress. Visiting these sites is like walking onto the set of the world's longest-running epic film. Except it's not a set, it's real. Every crumbling wall, every faded inscription, every silent archway holds stories of kings, poets, philosophers, and ordinary people who lived, loved, and built civilizations when much of the Western world was still in its infancy. It's a humbling experience, a profound reminder of the cyclical nature of power and the enduring legacy of human endeavor. And the Iranians? They carry this legacy with immense pride, not as dusty relics confined to museums, but as living, breathing testaments to a civilization that shaped the world. You'll see families picnicking amongst ancient ruins, children playing hide-and-seek behind colossal statues. This history isn't something separate, it's woven into the fabric of their everyday lives, a constant source of identity and dignity. Your history class was probably boring, this is living history. It makes you question, doesn't it? What lessons can we, in our fast-paced, ever-forward-looking world, learn from civilizations that mastered so much, so long ago? Do we truly understand the foundations upon which our own societies are built? And speaking of mastery, prepare for a cultural deep dive that will shatter your perceptions of artistic expression. Because while the headlines might shout about restrictions, the vibrant art scene here is a secret, thriving party, and you're about to get a peek behind the velvet rope. Number 5. The thriving underground art scene. You hear Iran, and maybe your mind conjures images of ancient art, intricate carpets, and classical poetry. All true, all beautiful. But then you hear restrictions, censorship, limitations. And you think, okay, so artistic expression is probably stifled? Right? Wrong. So incredibly, wonderfully wrong. Because beneath the surface, in unexpected alleyways, in hidden cafes, and within the very fabric of everyday life, a vibrant, daring, and profoundly clever art scene is not just surviving, it's absolutely thriving. And it's doing it with a wink and a nod, inviting you to interpret its meaning. I stumbled into a tiny, unassuming gallery in Isfahan, tucked away on a side street. From the outside, you'd never guess. Inside, a burst of color, a fusion of traditional calligraphy with edgy modern street art, photography that pushed boundaries, and sculptures that sparked immediate conversation. The curator, a young woman with fierce, intelligent eyes, explained how artists find ways to express themselves, using allegory, symbolism, and layers of meaning that allow their work to speak volumes without ever overtly challenging norms. She talked about the thrill of the game, the subtle communication, the knowing glances between artist and audience. It wasn't just art, it was a conversation, a silent rebellion, a testament to the unquenchable human need to create and communicate, no matter the obstacles. Hard truth number 5, the artistic spirit here is less suppressed, more strategically camouflaged, a masterclass in creative resilience. Don't mistake regulations for a lack of creative fire. Iran boasts an incredibly vibrant, often underground, art scene. Think edgy street art that appears overnight, independent galleries showcasing provocative contemporary works, experimental theater that delves into universal human themes, and a music scene that blends traditional sounds with modern beats, often shared discreetly online or at private gatherings. Artists here are masters of allegory and subtle expression, weaving their messages into their work in ways that are both profound and frankly genius. A painting of a cage might not explicitly mention political freedom, but the audience understands. A poem might speak of blossoming in harsh conditions, resonating deeply with those who live it. This layering of meaning, this sophisticated use of metaphor, isn't just a clever workaround, it's become an integral part of the artistic identity itself, adding depth and intrigue to the work. It forces the audience to engage, to think, to interpret, making the experience even richer. It's like watching a master magician. You know there's a trick, but you can't quite figure it out, and that's precisely what makes it so captivating. Iranian artists are performing cultural magic, continuously finding new ways to express the unexpressible, to sing the unsung, to paint the unseen. This constant negotiation between expression and context has, arguably, made their art even more potent, more meaningful, and certainly more thought-provoking. This isn't just about resistance, it's about sheer, unadulterated passion for creation. It's about a cultural legacy that prioritizes poetry, beauty, and intellectual depth, a legacy that refuses to be silenced. You'll find young filmmakers whose work wins awards at international festivals, musicians who are global sensations, and visual artists whose pieces command attention worldwide, often created against a backdrop of unique challenges. It's a testament to the power of human creativity to find an outlet, no matter the constraints. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world where overt expression is the norm, do we sometimes lose the subtle power of nuance, of metaphor, of art that asks you to think rather than just react? What truths might we discover if we learn to read between the lines, to see beyond the obvious? Now, cleanse your palate, because the next hard truth is going to send your taste buds on a wild aromatic journey they won't soon forget. If you thought you knew Middle Eastern food, prepare for a serious, delicious upgrade. This isn't just eating, it's an experience, a symphony of flavor. Number 6. The unrivaled culinary delights. You've probably seen Middle Eastern food on a menu somewhere, right? Maybe a kebab, some hummus. And you think, okay good, I've tried that. But let me tell you, if your culinary adventures haven't included Iranian food, you've been living a lie, a bland, flavor-deprived lie. Because what happens in Iranian kitchens is not just cooking, it's a form of edible alchemy, a symphony of flavors that will fundamentally reset your understanding of delicious. I thought I knew rice. White, fluffy, background noise. Then I sat down to my first plate of Iranian cello, perfectly cooked basmati, infused with saffron, dotted with barberries and pistachio slivers, often crowned with a golden, crispy crust called tadig. It wasn't just rice, it was a revelation. Each grain separate, each bite a burst of fragrant, slightly sweet, slightly tart perfection. I found myself obsessing over the tadig, the coveted golden crust at the bottom of the pot, a crispy, oily, utterly addictive layer that's fought over at the dinner table. It's a dish so simple, yet so complex in its execution, that it proves Iranian cuisine is playing a different game entirely. If your culinary adventures haven't included Iranian food, you've been living a lie. Seriously, this isn't just food, it's a historical epic on a plate, a testament to centuries of sophisticated flavor profiles. Forget everything you thought you knew about Middle Eastern cuisine. Iranian food is a symphony of flavors, fragrant rice cooked to perfection, succulent kebabs that actually melt in your mouth, slow-cooked stews bursting with herbs and delicate spices, and saffron. So much saffron. Take gourmet sabzi, the national dish. It's a herb stew, dark green, simmering for hours, with kidney beans, lamb, and dried limes that lend a distinct sour tang. It sounds humble, but the depth of flavor is extraordinary, a rich umami bomb that comforts the soul. Or fezzanjan, a thick, luscious stew of chicken or duck cooked in a rich walnut and pomegranate sauce, balancing sweet and tart in a way that's absolutely addictive. And the bread. Freshly baked sangak, a dimpled flatbread baked on hot stones, served warm and airy, perfect for scooping up every last drop. This isn't fast food, it's slow food, crafted with patience and precision. It's like listening to a complex symphony instead of a pop jingle. Each ingredient, each spice, each cooking method plays its part in a harmonious blend that is utterly unique. They understand that food is more than sustenance. It's a social glue, a form of expression, a generous act of love. And it's always served with an almost religious devotion, steeped in the warmth of Iranian hospitality. Meals are rarely rushed. They are events, opportunities for connection, for conversation, for lingering. You'll find yourself invited to share meals with strangers who quickly become friends, your plate constantly refilled, your protests met with polite insistence. The generosity surrounding food is as much a part of the culinary experience as the flavors themselves. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our grab-and-go world, have we forgotten the simple profound joy of a truly slow, meticulously prepared meal, shared with warmth and generosity? What flavors are we missing out on when we rush? And speaking of things that defy expectation, get ready to have your geographical worldview absolutely shattered. Because the next hard truth isn't just about mountains or deserts. It's about a country that literally contains every climate and landscape imaginable. Prepare for a geographical plot twist. Number 7. The jaw-dropping geographic diversity. Quick. Close your eyes. Picture Iran. What do you see? Deserts, right? Maybe some sand dunes, a few camels. That's what I thought too. That's what most people think. But what if I told you that in a single day, you could ski down a snowy mountain in the morning, swim in the Caspian Sea in the afternoon, and then watch the sunset over a vast arid salt desert by evening? Sounds like a fantasy, like I'm making it up, like a tourist brochure gone wild. But this isn't fantasy. This is Iran. And it will fundamentally redraw your mental map of what a country can contain. I was driving through the Elburz Mountains, a range so majestic it rivaled anything I'd seen in the Alps. We were at a ski resort, yes, a ski resort in Iran, surrounded by snow-capped peaks. The air was crisp, the views breathtaking. Just a few hours later, after descending through winding mountain roads, we were suddenly enveloped by a humid, almost tropical warmth. The landscape transformed into lush green tea plantations, dense forests, and then boom, the vast, shimmering expanse of the Caspian Sea, looking more like an ocean than an inland body of water. The sheer speed of the environmental shift was disorienting, exhilarating, and frankly, a little mind-blowing. It was like driving through 3 different continents in one day. This country has more geographic personalities than a drama club on opening night, a chameleon of landscapes that defies all expectations. You think it's all desert? Wrong. Iran boasts towering, snow-capped mountains you can ski on for months, a fact that surprises almost everyone outside the region. It has lush green forests along the subtropical Caspian Sea coast, where rice paddies and tea plantations flourish, creating a landscape that feels distinctly Southeast Asian. Then there are the vast arid salt deserts, like Dasht-e-Kavr and Dasht-Lut, home to some of the hottest places on Earth, where silence reigns supreme and the stars seem impossibly bright. And it doesn't stop there. You'll find ancient, untouched forests in the north that are millions of years old, part of the Hyrcanian forests, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, teeming with biodiversity. There are volcanic landscapes, fertile plains, dramatic coastlines along the Persian Gulf, and even wetlands that are crucial migratory bird habitats. The climatic zones range from subtropical to subpolar, creating an ecological mosaic that is truly astounding for a single nation. This diversity isn't just picturesque, it profoundly shapes the local cultures, cuisines, and ways of life in each region. It's like having an entire planet crammed into one country. You want adventure? You can trek through deserts, climb mountains, explore ancient caves. You want relaxation? You can lounge by the Caspian, or wander through cool, ancient gardens. This geographical smorgasbord makes Iran an adventurer's dream, a photographer's paradise, and a nature lover's ultimate playground. The people here don't just live in these landscapes, they live with them, their lives dictated by the seasons and the specific environments. From the hardy mountain dwellers to the seafaring communities of the south, the diversity of the land is mirrored in the diversity of its people and their traditions. It challenges the simplistic, often one-dimensional image of Iran that so many hold. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other countries, dismissed by a single stereotype, are secretly holding untold wonders of nature and culture? What geographical gems are we missing because of preconceived notions? But beyond the mountains and deserts, there's a force even more powerful, more welcoming, more capable of shattering your cynicism. Prepare yourselves for the biggest myth-buster of them all. This one's going to hit you right in the feels and might just restore your faith in humanity. Number 8. The incredible warmth and hospitality of the people. You've heard the headlines, seen the news reports. You might even carry a little apprehension, a whisper of doubt, about what you'll encounter on the streets of Iran. Fear, perhaps. Suspicion, maybe. But then it happens. A stranger approaches you, not with caution, but with a warm smile, an invitation for tea, a simple welcome to Iran. And suddenly, all those preconceived notions shatter like glass, replaced by a warmth that's so profound, so unexpected, it quite literally takes your breath away. I was wandering through a small village near Kashan, clearly lost, attempting to decipher a faded map. An elderly woman, noticing my confusion, simply gestured towards her small, unassuming home. No words, just a kind, insistent gesture. Hesitantly, I followed. Within minutes, I was seated on a traditional carpet, a steaming cup of tea in my hand, a plate of fresh dates and walnuts magically appearing before me. She spoke no English, I spoke almost no Farsi, but her eyes, her gestures, her repeated offers of Bafarmo ID. Please help yourself, conveyed a welcome deeper than any language. We communicated through smiles, shared laughter, and the universal language of hospitality. It wasn't about what she gave me, it was about the profound sense of being welcomed, cherished, even by someone who owed me nothing. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated human connection that I carry with me to this day. Hard truth number 8. The Iranian people are arguably the most genuinely hospitable on earth, a warmth so intense it can feel like a comforting embrace. Forget what the news tells you. The minute you step foot in Iran, you'll be overwhelmed by the curiosity, generosity, and genuine warmth of its people. Invitations for tea, offers of help with directions, spontaneous sharing of food, heartfelt conversations about your life and theirs. it's not uncommon to be invited into someone's home for a meal within hours of meeting them. This isn't just politeness, it's a deep-seated cultural value, an ancient tradition of honoring guests that will challenge every negative stereotype you've ever heard. This profound hospitality, known as memenovatsi, isn't merely good manners, it's a cornerstone of Iranian identity, rooted in ancient Persian traditions and Islamic teachings. To them, a guest is a gift from God. The act of welcoming and caring for a visitor is considered an honor, a sacred duty. This means going above and beyond, ensuring a guest feels comfortable, safe, and deeply respected, sometimes to the point where it can feel overwhelming to a Westerner not accustomed to such immediate, intense generosity. Imagine visiting a friend's house, and they treat you like royalty. Now amplify that by 100, and apply it to almost any interaction with a stranger on the street. It's a stark contrast to the guarded, often transactional interactions we've become accustomed to in many parts of the world. Here, people genuinely want to connect, to understand, to share their culture and their lives with you. They see you not just as a tourist, but as an ambassador from another world, a chance to bridge divides. This radical openness often leaves travelers utterly speechless, profoundly moved, and sometimes, a little teary-eyed. It's a powerful reminder that human connection transcends politics, headlines, and borders. You'll leave Iran not just with souvenirs, but with stories of profound kindness, unexpected friendships, and a renewed faith in humanity. It's a place where your biggest danger might just be eating too much delicious food because your hosts insist. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world increasingly fragmented, where trust is often scarce, what would happen if we all embraced a little more memenovatsi in our daily lives? What connections are we missing out on by not extending a hand of genuine welcome? And speaking of profound beauty and meticulous detail, prepare yourselves for an artistic revelation that will make your handmade trinkets look like a toddler's art project. The next hard truth is about a level of craftsmanship so exquisite, it's practically a superpower. Number 9. The mind-blowing craftsmanship and artistry. You've seen handmade before, right? A rustic mug, a knitted scarf, maybe a slightly crooked wooden bird. All charming, all well and good. But then you encounter Iranian craftsmanship, and suddenly, your definition of handmade is thrown out the window, replaced by a jaw-dropping reverence for precision, patience, and a level of detail that borders on the superhuman. This isn't just craft, it's an ancient living art form where every single stitch, every brushstroke, every piece of inlaid metal, tells a story of generations of dedication. I once watched a master miniature painter in Isfahan, hunched over a tiny piece of camel bone, using a brush made from a single cat hair. He was meticulously painting the eye of a bird, a detail so minute I needed to lean in close to even perceive it. The patience, the unwavering focus, the sheer dexterity of his hand was mesmerizing. He worked with a quiet intensity, almost meditating on the tiny canvas. He wasn't just painting, he was breathing life into something impossibly small, a world contained within a fingernail-sized space. It made me realize that this wasn't just about skill, it was a form of spiritual devotion to beauty and perfection. My own clumsy attempts at drawing felt like cave paintings in comparison. Their craftsmanship isn't just good, it's so good it'll make you question your own life choices and wonder if you've ever truly made anything. From the world-renowned Persian rugs, where every knot tells a story and an entire village's legacy can be woven into a single piece, to the delicate miniature paintings that demand a magnifying glass to appreciate their intricate narratives, and the stunning tile work that adorns mosques and palaces, creating kaleidoscopic patterns of color and light, Iranian artistry is on another level entirely. Consider the Persian rug. It's not just floor covering, it's a portable garden, a piece of art, an investment, a family heirloom. Each design often tells a story, reflects a specific region, or symbolizes a philosophical concept. Weavers spend years, sometimes decades, creating these masterpieces, not by painstaking knot. Then there's katamkari, the intricate art of marquetry, where thousands of tiny pieces of wood, bone, and metal are painstakingly cut and inlaid to create geometric patterns on boxes, frames, and furniture. Or the breathtaking blue and yellow tile work found in historic mosques, where every single tile is cut, glazed, and placed by hand, creating a mosaic of unparalleled beauty. It's like discovering that a single drop of water contains an entire universe. The depth of detail, the precision, and the sheer patience involved in these crafts are mind-boggling. It's not about mass production, it's about timeless beauty, a dedication to perfection passed down through generations. This artistry isn't just for display, it's woven into the fabric of daily life, turning utilitarian objects into objects of profound beauty and cultural significance. This dedication to craftsmanship is a living tradition, constantly being renewed by new generations of artisans who blend ancient techniques with contemporary aesthetics. They are preserving a vital piece of human heritage, ensuring that these incredible skills continue to inspire awe and beauty. Your souvenir list just got a whole lot longer, and your appreciation for true artistry just deepened. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our world of instant gratification and mass-produced goods, have we lost something vital by neglecting the art of patience, the beauty of meticulous creation? What incredible artistry might lie dormant within us if we just slowed down and dedicated ourselves to true mastery? And finally, the most audacious truth of them all, the one that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about safe travel. Because while the headlines scream one thing, the ground tells a completely different story, a story that's nuanced, complex, and absolutely essential to understand before you even think about booking that flight. Number 10. It's not what you think, safety and perceptions. Okay, full disclosure. This is the big one. The elephant in the room. You've listened to all these surprising truths about Iran. The modern cities, the incredible people, the stunning landscapes, the delicious food. And in the back of your mind, a little voice is probably whispering, but, is it safe? You've seen the news, read the warnings, and perhaps, like many, you have a mental image of a country shrouded in danger. But what if I told you that the reality on the ground, for most people, is so dramatically different from the narrative, it will shake your fundamental understanding of global perceptions? I once met a traveler who, despite all the warnings from friends and family, decided to visit Iran. They arrived on edge, cautiously looking over their shoulder, expecting hostility. Within hours, they were offered tea by a stranger, given directions by a helpful shopkeeper, and invited for dinner by a local family they met at a mosque. By day 3, their initial fear had completely evaporated, replaced by genuine awe at the kindness they encountered. They said, "It's like the world has been selling me a lie. I felt safer here than in some major European cities." Now, this isn't to dismiss valid concerns, but it highlights a profound disconnect. The perception of danger often vastly outweighs the experience of it, especially for tourists who respect local laws and customs. Traveling to Iran is far safer than the headlines will ever tell you, for most people, but with critical caveats you must understand. Now hold on, before you book that ticket, let me be crystal clear and responsible. Always check your government's current travel advisories before planning any trip to Iran. Right now, for US citizens, the travel advisory for Iran is do not travel due to significant risks like arbitrary detention and wrongful arrest. This isn't a joke, and it's something to take very seriously, as it means your government's ability to assist you if something goes wrong is severely limited. But here's the eccentric truth behind that. For many other nationalities, and for those who understand and respect the local context, local laws, and cultural sensitivities, Iran offers an incredible, often remarkably crime-free, and deeply rewarding travel experience. The gap between global political perception and on-the-ground reality for general tourism can be absolutely mind-boggling. You're more likely to be overwhelmed by hospitality than by street crime. Pickpocketing is rare, violent crime against tourists is almost unheard of, and people genuinely go out of their way to help. It's like judging an entire book by its most dramatic, politically charged chapter. The headlines often focus on geopolitical tensions, which are real and serious, but they rarely capture the everyday lives of millions of ordinary Iranians who are welcoming, peaceful, and eager to share their culture. The dangers that do exist are often political in nature, targeting specific individuals or groups, rather than random tourists who are simply exploring the country respectfully. The key to safe travel anywhere is responsible research, cultural respect, and an awareness of the current climate. In Iran, this means understanding the nuanced rules of dress, behavior, and photography, and being aware of the political context. But for those who do, and whose governments permit travel, the experience is often one of profound surprise and heartwarming human connection. It's a place where you're more likely to be overwhelmed by kindness than by danger, provided you understand the risks and your own government's warnings. It's a nuanced truth, a complex paradox, but a truth nonetheless. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much of our worldview is shaped by filtered information, by narratives that are incomplete or even misleading? What incredible experiences are we missing out on because of fear, when the reality on the ground tells a profoundly different story? And how do we reconcile these two vastly different truths? So there you have it, 10 hard truths about Iran, a country that defies expectations, challenges stereotypes, and consistently proves that the world is far more complex and captivating than any news report could ever convey. It's eccentric, it's ancient, it's modern, it's confusing, it's safe with caveats. And it's absolutely unforgettable. What truth blew your mind the most? Did any of these shatter your perceptions? Would you ever consider a trip to Iran, understanding these complex truths? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to keep exploring the weird, wonderful, and utterly unexpected corners of our planet, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, and join the most adventurous travel squad on YouTube. Don't just watch the news, explore the world. See you on the next wild ride.